Capital don't care.
Yeah.
Capital has no emotions. Capital only respects capital.
Yeah, the only time it respects people's opinions is when people boycott and it works, like this Bud Light thing.
Yeah.
And now people are like, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Like, be careful. Because look what happened to Bud Light.
Well, who controls Bud Light? That's the question. Why would they make a dumb decision like that? Are they trying to ruin Bud Light? And why would they want to ruin Bud Light? Are they trying to take down some of our most iconic American brands? And why would that help?
I don't think they were trying to. I don't think they had any idea this was going to happen. It's this ESG thing that everybody has to dedicate a certain amount of their time to, woke stuff.
Who mandates that?
It's a good question. Where's the ESG money come from? Is that government? Like, where does that come from? And it's they have scores, and the ESG score of your corporation determines what you get. And the problem is also you get these people that are coming out of college, like this lady who made the decision for Bud Light. She's gone through the university system, she's in the corporate system, and she's a woman, and she thinks, we have to be more inclusive, and that's all the language everyone's using today.
Yeah.
And so they don't know any real people. They don't know regular people. They have no idea that if you take a brand, Bud Light, which is like known for, blue-collar drinking people, that they like and watch football and drink Bud Light, and then all of a sudden you have this person who's just an attention whore, and you make a big deal out of putting this person's 365 days of womanhood. You put that on a Bud Light can, and they freak the out.
Yeah.
And then Kid Rock shoots a bunch of them, and then it's on. Once Kid Rock shoots your cans, you got real problems.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you do. Yeah, man. It's kind of like, I think you gotta still ask why. Like, what?
You think there's like a conspiracy?
Well, who's getting hurt? Who's getting hurt in this whole thing? Is it the Bud Light,
Anheuser-Busch,
brass? Will their bonuses be affected? Will their checks and salaries be affected? You got this lower level person fired, and a bunch of middle class guys are paying the price because you got distribution centers, the guys that deliver the beer nobody want, and now they're out of a job. Now you're really attacking the middle class by making a brand that's so big take a hit like that.
It says here, the quickest destruction of a company in history. Bud Light sponsors Toronto Pride Parade.
So, it's
when was this? That was just the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so silly. They're leaning into it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. We've been covering this Bud Light saga for a very, very long time, and here's what we've discovered, is that this actual crisis with Bud Light and them betraying their customers has actually brought people together. It's brought together so many interesting and fascinating groups of individuals like Kid Rock and Ice Cube. Kid Rock and Ice Cube joining Joe Rogan in hating Bud Light, in joining the boycott against Bud Light, along with Dylan Mulvaney, who joined the boycott against Bud Light last week. Yeah. You have yourself a very interesting little barbershop quartet there. But listen, of course, Ice Cube understands what's actually happening here for the brand. More than anything, Ice Cube, as we have covered on this channel, is one of the realest of the real. And he likes to spit truth, even if it's uncomfortable for people like the Democrat Party, which hates him for effectively trying to work with Donald Trump to make life for Black Americans better in this country. Ice Cube is spitting the real there, which is that when you betray your audience, when you betray your paying customer, when you betray the people who are really in charge, it's not your woke marketing department who's in charge, and it's not your globalist CIA agent CEO who's in charge. It's your customers who are in charge. And once you betray them, once you destroy that trust, then you have nothing left for your brand. because you don't have a brand, because the purpose for your entire existence is now gone. So if Kid Rock, who is the paragon of the Bud Light drinker, right? The iconoclast for somebody who wishes to crack open a cold Bud Light at the end of the day. If he is blowing up your product with a firearm, we went and blew up the Bud Light product with a firearm. If you are pushing regular Americans, real Americans, red-blooded Americans, red state Americans to go do that, then you just don't have a brand anymore. You're done. And that's what people are starting to actually see, and it brings us absolutely no joy to report this. As fun as this has been, I knew that this moment would come where the actual pain would be felt by Americans who are innocent in all of this. They just simply worked for Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch. There's no problem working for Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch. There are, I think, hundreds of thousands of like regular Americans who are sinless in all of this, that this woke marketing department went through and ruined their decent job and paychecks. Totally good, honest work, like a bottling company that is now going under. I'll get to that in a second. But there's really interesting stuff here from inside of Bud Light. Anheuser-Busch CEO failed to fix Bud Light crisis. He got to quit now for the sake of the 401ks, says the brand's ex-president of sales, Anson Ferrix. Anson Ferrix is a co-founder of Strive Management Asset Team. He was the former president of Anheuser-Busch Sales and Distribution. So this guy knows a little something about what it's like to keep the brand going. Heading into the U.S. beer market's biggest sales week of the year, the 4th of July, Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whitworth was no doubt hoping that the recent turmoil was behind him. The beer company's decision to make transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney the face of Bud Light cost a staggering $20 billion and counting in lost market value, and it's permanent. But the battle has already been lost. Uh-oh. On Thursday, Mulvaney did something that Whitworth should have had the wisdom to do weeks ago. Cut ties. That's right. Dylan Mulvaney came out and against Budweiser, Bud Light. Anheuser-Busch's response on Friday was weak and indecisive. As we move forward, we will focus on what we do best, brewing beer for everyone and earning our place in a moment that matters to consumers, instead of just apologizing to the customer base that they betrayed. What does this mean? Absolutely nothing, writes the former chief operations officer for sales of Anheuser-Busch. It will only deepen the chasm between the brand and its customers. As such, I take no pleasure in passing this judgment. It is clear that it is time for the shareholders and the board of Anheuser-Busch to ask Whitworth to step aside and go back to the CIA, where he is a dirty spook. Now, to be clear, I worked with Whitworth for many years at Anheuser-Busch. He personally promoted me twice and eventually made me president of Anheuser-Busch Sales. We had a good relationship, and I left on my own terms as co-found an asset company management. I write this with a heavy heart, not out of spite, because it's important for Americans to understand why corporate leaders can bungle the management of a once iconic American brand so badly, sacrificing countless jobs and invested assets in the process. I write this because those leaders must be seen to take responsibility when things go badly wrong. And things have gone wrong. Check this out. The human cost of Bud Light's $20 billion Dylan Mulvaney fiasco: 2 bottling plants are forced to cut production and lay off staff of 645 due to decline in demand. I run a company. I want to thank you for being members of the Benny Brigade, for watching this channel, for subscribing to this channel. I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart. Thankfully, our company is doing great, and I don't ever want to have to fire staff. I love the people at this company, and I feel like I have an obligation, of course, for them, their livelihoods, their families, for their hopes and dreams, that rests upon my shoulders in small part. I cannot imagine having to fire 645 people because these woke marketing company, woke marketers in Manhattan made a decision to self-immolate the brand. And now, the people of Wilson, North Carolina, and Simsboro, Louisiana, will now have to go home with pink slips. 400 people and 245 people, respectively, have lost their jobs at major bottling plants because Bud Light and Budweiser no longer needs them to bottle. Here are the photos of the plants. This is real America right here. Here's the memo, internal memo obtained on the declining sales of Anheuser-Busch. Says these people won't have jobs during the holiday. This is one of the guys. So incredibly sad. A machine repair mechanic told local news that the plant was closing because Budweiser can no longer sell its products. Unbelievably sad. This is the face of cruelty. This is the face of wickedness. But you know what? Like, quite frankly, Dylan Mulvaney didn't come screaming to the doors of Budweiser saying, hire me. Budweiser went to Dylan Mulvaney. Who's really responsible here? Ladies and gentlemen, it is the marketers. Dylan Mulvaney, of course, has also turned, such a smart partnership, has also turned on Bud Light and has joined the boycott against Bud Light and ended the partnership. Bud Light didn't have the balls to end the partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. It was the other way around. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. The destruction of a brand. The destruction of the people who work for that brand. And why did it all need to happen? Well, I guess to prove a point. Finally, for the end of time, we can now prove that if you go woke, you will in fact go broke. These people are not creators, they are destroyers. Destroyers of brands, destroyers of franchises, destroyers of good things in lives, and destroyers of jobs. Of regular innocent Americans who deserve a lot better. Ladies and gentlemen, don't drink Bud Light. Don't drink Budweiser. Make them pay, and every single other brand in history will stop for a moment before they betray their customers once more. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe to End the Communism. See ya.